Hello friends, welcome to the Vintage Dreamer Makes episode number 9. This is going to be a quick one. I only have 2 works in progress to show you and a life update, and that's pretty much it. So I was really excited the last podcast because I got my setup all done and I was so proud of it. We just moved into this house about 11 months ago, almost 12 months, and it took a long time because it was a bigger house. It took a long time for me to figure out things, but because the house was a little bigger, I got my own room for a craft room, a sewing, quilting, and knitting room. Well, we found out, you might already know this from Instagram, it's very possible, but we found out that we have to move. I just get this room set up and I only did maybe 2 videos here and we have to move. We picked this house. Well, if you know our backstory, we had to leave our previous house because of mold, and we had to leave pretty quickly because it happened so fast and it wasn't very healthy for our family. And we picked this house because, well, we were living with my mother-in-law, so we really needed a house, and we fell in love with it. It was a little farther away from my parents than I would have liked. My mom has Alzheimer's, so I need to be close to her. But it's worked out okay. It's like a 30-minute drive, but then there's traffic, so it can get up to 45 minutes. But it was working out great. We were happy. So the house we're renting was just purchased by a real estate agent, and she was going to originally flip it, and she decided that she wanted to rent it out long term. And she told us it was going to be long term, and we wanted long term, so we took the house when they offered it to us. And 10 months later, or 11 months later, she's like, I've decided to sell the house. So we have no choice but to move. If we had known that we would have only been here for 10 months, 11 months, we would not have taken the house. I don't like moving. We have a lot of stuff, so it's pretty stressful. The nice thing about this move though is we had time to look. The other house, the mold was found and we had to pack it up quickly, and there was no AC and it was super hot. So it wasn't a healthy situation to pack up. So we had to do it extremely quickly, and it was not organized at all, which is one of the reasons when we moved here, why it was so helter-skelter, because we had to move it to a storage unit and then try to find a house and then put all of our stuff from the storage unit back into the house, and it was a huge ordeal. Anyway, so we're moving in 2 days. So I saved this part here for the last to pack up. After this video, I'm going to have to pack up everything behind me. I'm pretty stressed because there's still a lot to do. And I almost didn't do this podcast, but I really wanted to. And I'm really excited about this new brioche project that I'm working on. So I'm excited to show you about that. And we have a new addition to our family, which I will show you in a little bit, that we're really excited about. So let's get started with my 2 works in progress. So first, I will show you my Birkin sweater that I started last year. And I don't believe I've showed it to you, although I feel like in a video a couple years ago, I showed you the yarn. But let's see, I need to get my notes out because my brain's a little all over the place. So let's see. Yes, so I'm doing the Birkin by Caitlin Hunter, and I'm using Brooklyn Tweed Loft. And the modifications, I found this on my Ravelry. I did these modifications a while ago, so I'm glad I wrote it down because I wouldn't have remembered. It says, for the short rows, I did 10 stitches before the last wrap stitch instead of 5. I only did the short row rounds 3 times instead of 4. And then I also put the color work a bit closer to the collar by 2 rounds. So this is only the second pattern I've done by Caitlin Hunter. The first one was my Soldotna crop. I didn't finish, I'm at the body right now. I don't think I'm gonna do any more for patterns because the yokes, it just seems like there's so many problems with it. The first Soldotna crop I had a problem with, and this one, I'm having a problem with. So I adjusted the neck so it doesn't like scrunch up. Hopefully it'll stretch out, but it's turning out really pretty. This is a lot harder than I thought because sometimes you have to carry 3 colors at a time, which I really dislike doing. Let's see, where's the front? There's the back. So this is what it looks like so far. Show you close up. I chose not to do baubles in certain areas, but I am doing the baubles on the flower parts. I don't know if you can see. Kind of, there's a little bauble. But it's really pretty. I don't have the colors written down. I'll have to look in that other video and see if I said what the colors are and link that down below. Hopefully I'll have time to do that. Not before the move, of course, I'll do that after. But I'm really happy with it, and see how the neck's pretty stretchy? I think that's because of the modifications that I did, because some people were having trouble with it, like crunching up. So, yeah. So I still have a lot to go, and a lot of people were also having trouble with the yoke being way too long, going past the armpits, and it looks like I'm gonna have trouble with that on this too. Oh no, my stitches. Ah, mayday, mayday. Goodness. The last thing I need is to have to figure out a problem with my knitting. I don't believe they make this darker purple yarn, colored yarn anymore. Unfortunately, it's really pretty. Here is the project I am currently working on. So I've kind of, this past maybe 5 months, have turned into a monogamous. For the past 5 months or so, I've turned into a I can't do this. Okay. So for the first 5 or 6 months, I've turned into a monogamous knitter. I'm not sure why. I think because there's just so much stress happening in my life between family health issues and my mother, and that it's just been so overwhelming that there's something comforting about just having one project to work on. When in the past, I like to bounce around, and I'll probably end up bouncing around in the future once my life kind of gets more settled and less stressful. But for now, one project at a time for me. This is a project bag by Tanai Casey. Tanai, I think it's Tanai Casey. I'll put her name down on the video so you can go find her website. She makes great sturdy bags, one of my favorite bag makers. And this is my first brioche project. I'm so excited about it. It is, I've gotten on this Andrea Mowry kick. So if something is popular, I usually stay away from it. I don't know why, I'm just kind of like that. I don't like to do the in thing. If everyone's doing it, I don't really want to do it. So I haven't made any projects by Andrea Mowry. And I was in Toronto in that knitting store that I talked about in the last video, and they had the Cinnabar shawl. Now, the last video, I believe I shared my other shawl. No, it was a cowl, and I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it was Andrea Mowry pattern, and I really enjoyed it. She does her patterns very well written, and I came across this Cinnabar shawl, and it was so pretty that I couldn't resist, and I decided to make the Cinnabar shawl by Andrea Mowry. And the needle size that I'm using is 3.5 millimeter, size 4. And I'm using spin cycle yarns dyed in the wool. So in the pattern, she uses 2 weights of yarn. She uses dyed in the wool and another one that I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a thicker yarn, so that kind of gives it that contrast. When I was in the yarn shop, I didn't see a color I liked from that, so I just decided to do all dyed in the wool yarn. And I did write down the colors. I do have the colors for this. So I use Summer Love, Robin's Egg, and Deep Bump. And then as the main contrasting color, I used Lathe. They're pretty. I don't have a sample of the others. Well, I do have this one. This I believe is, it's either Summer Love or Deep Bump. I think it's Deep Bump. But the other two I used up. So that's how far along I am. So Brioche, I almost gave up. Like, I was so frustrated that I was like, forget it. I don't want to do this. But you know, when you start a project and you buy all the yarn for it, it's expensive. This shawl is basically like making a sweater. So I'm like, I can't waste this yarn. I have to figure out how to do this. So I prevailed and I figured it out. And this is what my Cinnabar shawl is looking like. So in the pattern, you're supposed to use only two colorways. You have the main contrasting colorway, which is this here, this dark along the edge that you use all the way through. And then you use the other colorway that's supposed to be more variegated. So the contrasting is supposed to be solid, and then you use a variegated yarn to go with that. And in the shop, I really liked this colorway, and they had more of it, but because Dyed in the Wool is dyed so uniquely, it looked like this was a different dye lot, so it looked totally different than the others of this colorway. So I decided to pick other colors to blend. And if I could do it again, I probably wouldn't, but it still turned out good. But because I wasn't liking how some of the colors were blending together out of the different colorways, I did a lot of splicing together, so I have a lot of ends to weave in. But I thought it's turning out very lovely. So let's find... Okay, I can tell the front. Oh yeah, okay. Here's the front. It has my little Simply Serving popcorn bowl. Okay, so this is the wrong side, and this is the outside or the right side. It's so pretty. I'm so proud of it. It's such a big shawl. I don't usually wear shawls this big, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to use it. Gonna have to figure out how to wear it. Yeesh. Okay. Anyways, it's not gonna be able to show fully because if I stretch it out fully, it'll pop off the needles. But I really like it. Here is the colorway that I wanted to do all the way through. So I split that up, and this I used in the beginning and then at the end, and then the other two I was kind of alternating, so it blended a lot better. But I really love the different sides to it. I love how it's just knit and purled on this side, and then the brioche on the other side. I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to finish it. This is all I've been working on. It's been so comforting at night. I'm at the point now where it's so long that I can only do like 2 rows a night. So it's going a little slower. I went pretty fast towards the beginning, but now it's going too slow. But it's been nice to have just one project. And that's it. Everything else is packed away except for what's behind me. So I have a lot more in progress things, but I just didn't have time to organize it, go through it, make sure I have all the information for you. Are you ready to see our newest addition? I am so excited to show you. Okay, I'm gonna go get her. I'll be right back. Come on. Hi, baby. Hi. Come up and be with me? Okay, come on. I'll pick you up. Come on, it's okay. Ooh, I got you. Oh, hi. This is Chocolate. Hi, Chocolate. I know, you're not allowed in here, huh? Yeah, so there's a lot to see. There's a lot to see. You want to say hi to everyone? So this is Chocolate. She is an Australian Labradoodle. She's part Cocker Spaniel. She's part Poodle and part Labrador. Huh. Yeah, you're such a good puppy, huh? We got her on June 1st. Yeah. She's 3 months old. Yeah. Hi. You say hi? Hi. You know, you look like a little teddy bear, huh? Yeah. You say hi to everybody? So, Australian Labradoodle is basically a breed that was developed in Australia, which is why they call it Australian Labradoodle. And the difference between a Labradoodle and an Australian Labradoodle is the Cocker Spaniel. Yeah. So my daughter named her Chocolate, and we got her June 1st, and she's about 3 months old. Huh. Yeah, it's just a good puppy. You're a good puppy. We love you so much. We love you so much. I'll have to show you some videos of when she was little. I can't believe how big she is compared to the pictures. I haven't been taking pictures of her getting bigger. So that was Chocolate. We love her. She's gotten humongous. She's actually not going to be a very big dog. She's a mini, so she's going to be about 20 to 25 pounds. Most likely 20 because she was the smallest of her litter. Although I don't know if you could see, she has a little sty in her eye that we had to take her to the vet, and they gave us antibiotic ointment for, and she's so squirmy, so it's hard to give it to her, and I've been doing warm compresses, and it's not going down, so she might need surgery on her eye. Just what we need in the middle of everything, but we are very happy with her. And moving with a puppy is not easy. Packing with a puppy is not easy. Just having a puppy is not easy. I knew it would be challenging, but I didn't realize how challenging, especially when I have to train her specifically for different things. But it's going really well. So we're very happy. There, throw it. Get it. Oh, good. She did it. Get it. Now throw it again. And I need to start packing. I've been so melancholy packing up my art space. I was so excited the last podcast because I had my space all put together, and I was going to do a room tour and everything. And now instead of a room tour, I'm doing a room deconstruction. It's so depressing past this camera. Like, my sewing area is just all taken down, all the decorations, the curtain rod, just everything's down. And this new house that we found, oh, I haven't talked about that. We did find a house, and it is 10 minutes closer to my parents, but it is 1,000 square feet smaller than this house. So I've been doing a lot of downsizing, and even with the downsizing, I'm not sure it's enough. So I'm a little nervous, but we move on Saturday, the hottest day of the year apparently, 105 degrees, possibly 110. Doesn't usually get 110 in California, but 105 I'm thinking is probably what it's going to end up being. So that's not going to be fun. Trying to think if there's anything else to update you on. Oh yes, I forgot. So I went to a plein air convention, and their special guest was Jane Seymour, and they were celebrating 10 years of the annual plein air convention, and it was in Denver, Colorado. And I was able to go and hang out and paint with Jane Seymour. That was a very interesting experience. She was nice. There was a painter there who painted her in her Dr. Quinn outfit. It wasn't the official jacket, but it was the official hat. I'll share images of that. And it was so cool. I wish I could have the painting, but the artist painted it specifically for Jane. And that was really cool. And then she was there selling her scarves that she does for her Open Hearts Foundation. And I bought a scarf from her and I got a picture with her. And then she stayed around the next couple days in the, where you can buy things. She did a lot of painting with vendors' supplies. And I took it upon myself to ask if I could paint with her, which was kind of brave of me. And I could tell that she was a little like, oh, okay. But I was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I took it. I am a huge fan of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. I went to Paramount Ranch before they had the fire where the buildings burned down. And this was before podcasts, before I knew about podcasts. Or maybe it might have been, it's well over 10 years ago. But I did a photo shoot there. I made a skirt, I crocheted a shawl, and my husband and I went down and took pictures. I'll have to do a little slideshow of the pictures at the end. I'm so glad I did it because years later, there was a big fire and it burnt the whole set down. It was so sad. Jane Seymour's really good friend, Sherry, was the set costume designer for Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. And I was able to kind of talk to her for a moment, and I asked her, so can I ask you a question? Whatever happened to the knitted and crocheted shawls? And are there patterns? And how did you come up with it? Tell me the story behind that. And she said she gets that question a lot, and Jane Seymour actually has most of the shawls and a lot of the costumes. She liked to get her things from local people. For the shawls, she outsourced to local people to knit the shawls, and they just knit the pattern, design the pattern for the show. So there is no pattern. And she said in the past, she's laid out for knitters the shawl and taken pictures of the close detail. So if they wanted to try to duplicate it, they could. And I was like, oh, I want to do that so bad, but I didn't ask. It was pretty busy. Anyway, so yeah, Jane Seymour has all of them. There's no patterns for them, unfortunately, and they were made by local people. I don't think it was just one person. I think she got it from different people. So if you want a Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman shawl, you have to watch the TV show and just put it together because there's no pattern. So sad. But it was so cool to hear her talk about the costumes. It was only a 5-minute conversation, maybe not even that, but I thanked her for all the hard work she did on the show because her friend Sherry was so nice, and Jane was nice too, but Jane was very busy and had a lot of things coming at her, so I'm thinking that's why she wasn't super talkative back and forth. It was more like people watched her talk. But she's a celebrity, right? So that's just how it goes when you're a celebrity. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I shoved my way in and painted next to Jane Seymour, gave her my painting, and she put it on her Instagram. Anyways, so that was my exciting May, and then now packing. So I hope you all have a good rest of July, and I will see you later. And hopefully things will be a little more set up in our new house. Maybe I'll do some vlogging. It really depends on how life goes. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Oh, thank you for all the joy your acting has given me. I feel blessed to have met you in person. With love, Rebecca Golden Columbine. Oh, thank you.